Hey everyone, Jessica here, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how easy it is to intensify the colors in your iridescent styles. So here I've made a really cool design and I wanted to kind of show off some of the brush strokes and use a few different color palettes, and you really get that sort of subtle iridescent effect that you're going for. And in this little design I had some gradient backgrounds, I used some color blending strokes, I used some solid confetti at the bottom and accented it a little bit with some sparkles and stars and everything. And it looks cool, I'm happy with it, but what I'm going to show you is how you can intensify the colors, and it gives you so much more options for your designs. So in your file there is some different layer styles that you can use, and I'm just going to go into the file folder and you're going to see a folder called Intensify. And these are some ASL layer styles, and I'm going to show you how to load them and how to use them, and it's super, super easy. So rather than make like 100 more color palettes with all the different variations, I made these 35 base layers, and then you can intensify them, and it just gives you that many more options, and it's really cool. So these are ASL layer styles, and most of the time if you have Photoshop installed and double click them, they're automatically going to load up. But if they don't automatically load up when you double click them, just go into Photoshop and go to Windows, Styles, to make sure that your Styles panel is showing, and it's popped up over here. And I've got all my actual iridescent styles here. And if you don't have them loaded up, just go to the top right corner and click Import Styles, and then navigate to that file and it'll load it all up. So once you load it up, it's going to look like this. You're going to have 5 different Intensify layer styles. And now I'm going to show you how to use those layer styles. So the very easiest way to use them is just to use them document wide. So rather than just applying them to like one, I mean, you could apply them just to every individual layer, but for the most part, all of the gradients and all of the brush are kind of the same level. So I just apply it to the whole document. So the easiest thing to do is I have this design made and I'm happy with it. So what I'm going to do is at the top of my layers, I'm going to make a new layer, and I am just going to fill this layer with any color. It doesn't matter, white, black, whatever. And then I'm going to go to my styles and I'll just click Intensify 1. And basically what that does is I put the fill of that layer to 0, and then it adds these color overlays, which are black and overlay, and it intensifies the color. So here's the original, and there's the Intensify layer over it. And as you can see, it just dramatizes those colors a little bit. So if I go to Intensify 2, it's going to be a little more darker, a little more intense. And then 3, you're starting to really get some of those wild kind of holographic colors. And then 4, and then 5. And here you really can see the difference. These are really cool, really crazy. It really looks more holographic, kind of intense. And it's just great. So you can just play around and find one that you like. And that just kind of applies to the whole document. And what's really nice is I'm going to put on a black background layer, and that really, if you use some of these against a black, that really looks great. Because the thing is if you use the lighter colors against black, you're not going to see the color, the colors are too delicate, and the black is just going to make them look washed out. Like if I turn this off and I use those colors against black, as you can see, you really lose the subtlety. So that's why I created these different Intensify overlays, because that way if you want to use a black background and kind of play with that whole look, then it intensifies and darkens these colors so that it can stand up against that black background. And then you have so many more different possibilities that you can do. So it gives you a lot of possibilities. It looks really cool. I definitely recommend playing with, the color blending strokes, play with some gradients as well with the black, and then use black to kind of contrast with that, and you'll get some really amazing effects. But that's how easy it is, and you can just click through here and play with that. I'm going to turn off my black background layer. And that's as easy as it is. So if you have any questions, just let me know down below in the comments. But what this does is that this turns those 35 different palettes into a whole bunch more, because you can go different variations of every palette. So it just kind of gives you a whole lot more options. I'll hopefully be able to have some time to make some displays with like a black background to show you more ideas on how you can do a darker version of these iridescents. And if you have any questions, just let me know below in the comments. And make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to continue to make tutorials and give you ideas of how to use these brushes.